Ready? Lord, you don't really care for music, do ya? It goes like this: fourth, the fifth, minor fall and a major lift, baffled king, composer, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, Oh, Champy. Alrighty, everybody. Welcome. Happy, what is it, Thursday? Is it Thursday? Yeah. It is Thursday night. I have gone off and left my laptop at work. And I just realized it as I sat down to do this live. Thank you for pulling me from the State of the Union. I thought old Joe was peppy. He was pretty fiery, but I figured I'd seen enough, and they'll be talking about it for the next week anyway, so don't need to see it live. But anyway, my ability to demo night tonight might be hampered. So we might need to just do Soapbox. Soapbox AI Learning Lab. If you're new here, my name. So yeah, I'm going to use my iPad. That little image right there, that's my iPad. It'll be interesting. Do you have two computers, Kyle? I do. I have a computer at work, computer, and a laptop. But I needed my laptop at work today because Monique and I, my co-founder, were working on a big presentation, and so I had to have my laptop there so we could work in a conference room, and then I just left it at work because neuro-spicy, that's the game, and remembering shit is occasionally not going to happen. Yay! Talk to Pi 2.5. Well, I would, except Pi 2.5, Pi was, I tried to do it before I came on, and it was like, yeah, we're not doing that. Let's see what we got going here. What version of Inflection are you using? Question mark. Hi, Kyle. All right, back. I figured it would be back by the time we went live. Ah! Okay. So, couple of things. My name's Kyle Shannon. This is the AI Learning Lab. If you're here, that means one of a couple of things. You're an irregular. They know who they are. It could mean you're curious about AI. And you're like, I gotta figure this shit out. When does class start? Is the real professor ever gonna show up? You're in the perfect place. You could also be here because you were flicking through TikTok and you're like, did Alec Baldwin get fat? Or whatever. Is that Rosie O'Donnell? And if that's why you're here, welcome. Welcome. This is, we have fun. We have fun here. And we do Learning Lab stuff. So if you have questions about AI, drop them in the comments below. We've got mods that'll help sort of bring those to the top if I get to rambling. So one of the other things that goes on here, being a neurospicy and all, one of the nicknames of the channel is Chat ADD. Because occasionally I will set off to, say, show someone how to do something, and then 45 minutes later I still haven't started. That's just the way it goes here. So set your expectations at the door. Lower them. If your bar is here, bring it down. And then when you get your expectation level here, bring it down even further. And then we'll be good. You'll be fine. You'll be like, that was better than I expected. If you get to rambling. If you get to rambling. Forever Hooked knows me too well. What are you going to do? And then also, because everything's lower now, I've got a bit of an issue here. Because everything's too low. Let's see. Is that working? I'm totally discombobulated. Wait till I try to show you something on the old computer. Oh, Lordy. Okay. So, does anyone have any questions before we get started? TK, where's the AI automation to our primary representatives? Yeah, exactly. Ba-da-ba-bum. Silver Fox, I hate when my stuff is moved. It sends me. I know. I got in here and I'm like, okay. Oh, the computer's not there. Did I leave it in the living room? I was like, fuck! Does it work? I knew it the moment I did it. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? How's everybody doing? What's everyone got going on? I see Mr. K's here. Danielle's here. Emilio's wife is here. And on time? Good Lord. Will wonders never cease? I'm calling myself an irregular moving forward. Pauly Z, I've seen you in here multiple times. I will give you that moniker, that crown. I hereby knight thee irregular. And, just get some Imodium. It'll help. Try the fiber. Try the fiber. By the way, if you've been in here for the past few nights, we came up with a show based on a character I created called Frank, who's a hot dog. He's a wiener, Frank the Wiener. And I think it was Forever Hooked, right? Came up with the name The Daily Jank with Frank. So there is now a Daily Jank TikTok Twitter channel, x.com channel. So if you go to Twitter, if you go to X and search for the account Daily Jank, you will see Frank's channel. So Frank has his own channel. Frank today talked about Pi 2.5 or Inflection 2.5 to be used in Pi. And we can play with that. But that's actually pretty exciting. I was gonna do something on the TikTok thing, but it was a 50-0 vote. There was no real hubbub about it, and TikTok has 165 days to divest from ByteDance or face deletion. So what hit me about it was there's enough time and there's enough just parties involved that we've got time, so we're fine. So I didn't feel like Frank needed to stir anything up with his 42 followers or 23 followers, something like that. I'm starting every local AI salon meetup with "Let's be frank." That's pretty good. I like it. Hot dogs are the official finger food for the AI salon after hours. I might drop running on 4.5 hours of sleep for the third time this week. So this presentation I had to work on today, after cutting it, it's at 60 slides. But I will have you know, so here's a little workflow thing that I'll share with you. So we're working with bankers. We got to tell the story of our company. And so we've done presentations to them and, just talked about stuff. And I did a presentation where I talked about Storyvine, my company, and what we do and who we do it for and how we do it. And then all the new AI stuff that we've built into it. So I had like this 1.5 hour long conversation where I'm showing them stuff. They're asking questions. We're going back and forth. So I took the transcript of that, threw it into Claude, and then said, "Hey, Claude, here's my goal. I want to talk about the company. I want it to be, targeted to these kind of, this kind of audience, not to that kind of audience, that kind of stuff." And I said, "Write me an outline for this particular kind of document they're looking for," and it did it. And then I said, "Write me a bunch of slides for each of those sections." It gave me 10 sections in the outline. And then when I took the template that the bank had given us, like the first 20 slides of the template and the thing that Claude produced were identical. It was amazing. It was just like, if you're going to talk about a company, you're going to talk about the same basic shit. And so Claude completely blocked out, the major slides. And then I went through, how did I do it? I put them in Notebook or Notes in iOS. It's basically just a notepad. So I put all of that text into Notepad, and then I just copied and pasted into slides. That took me 2 or 3 days. And then we went through it today. So it was pretty cool. It probably saved me at least a week just doing it that way. And it's good. It's good, Now I got to go through and actually write it, right? Now it's all blocked out. We've got the major pieces there. Now I actually got to go through and write it, but amazing. Polly Z, appreciating being dubbed and irregular. Congratulations, by the way. If you haven't, head on over to the AI Salon and jump into the AI Irregulars Club and say hi to everyone there. And if you're already there, then cool. And if you don't know what the AI Salon is, I can pull that up. Let me see. How am I doing this? It's sort of the same. So, if you are looking for community, well, no, let's put it this way. Not if you're looking for community. There's something weird about that when people talk about communities, it's all about community. There's something weird about it. If in your life, you're one of those people that's like, I think AI is cool, and everyone else is like, would you shut the fuck up about AI? If you want to be around people who also think it's cool and are exploring it and trying to figure it out and trying to understand, Pi has a new release. It does. I'll talk about it in a second. This group is a group that you should join. So this is a group of AI adventurers who are choosing to lean into this AI stuff and figure it out and play. And this is a good place in between these meetings. Like if you come out and hang out here, this is obviously a bunch of people that are willing to sit on TikTok for a couple hours a night and listen to me are really into AI, and they're really into figuring this stuff out, and they're really into being willing to not know all the answers. And that's not necessarily a comfortable place. As exciting as this stuff is. Oh yeah, go to the first link there. Yep, exactly. And that'll take you to a website. And the first thing you'll do is you'll land on Welcome to the Salon. And you can read about what we're up to. You can read about our values. And if you dig those values, then jump in. And the first thing you should do under the community section, the first link under community is introduce yourself. So click on that link and introduce yourself. I know what you're thinking. Oh, but I don't know anyone. They're going to judge me. I don't really know anything about AI. They know more than I do. No, everyone's fucking clueless right now. Even the experts. You know, it's funny. I talk to people who've been in like machine learning development in some form or other for 20 years, 30 years. And every time I meet one of them, I ask them about generative AI. So generative AI is sort of post-chat GPT. Every time I meet one of them, I'm like, so, okay, you've been in machine learning for 20 years. What do you think of generative AI? They're like, generative AI is a big deal. And I say, well, what's different post-generative AI than pre-generative AI? And the response universally has been everything. Their response is everything's different. So even people who are experts at this shit, like that know the math and build the foundational shit that makes all of this stuff work, are a bit untethered right now. So this is a community of people who are willing to be on the adventure, even knowing they don't have all the answers. Just willing to play and explore and support one another and ask questions and answer questions. So you can go into this group and you can introduce yourself and say, hey, I'm Bob. I've sold carpets for 38 years. And this AI stuff, I don't know what I'm doing. And someone will go, cool, come on in. And there's guilds. And there's kind of a little show-off area where people can show their work and talk about it. There's a water cooler area. There's a news area. And then there's a little club area where this channel has our own club. So you can go there and hang out. And normally I'd be flipping around a bit more, but everything's a little discombobulated because I'm on an iPad. Let's see. Let me go to AI Salon. I will accept your cookies. Yes. I will accept your cookies. I have to touch the screen, so you'll see my big damn fat finger in there. So when you first get there, come to Welcome to the Salon. Check out the Salon. Read about who we are, why we do what we do. Read about our values. Things like curiosity, generosity, exploration, collaboration, inclusion, empathy. Empathy is a really interesting one. One of the reasons we have empathy here oh my God, the spammers. The text spammers are just relentless now. I talked to a contractor around my age about you, and he was oblivious about AI. Oh, cool. That's awesome. That's awesome. Jason, I'm trying to get promoted to moderate. DM me. DM me. I'm happy to chat. Well, you can't really see it. It's a little blown out. Wait, I think I can fix that. Hang on. Right? Oh, look at that. Look how good I am, people. All right, empathy. Well, you can sort of read it. You can't really read it, but whatever. Why empathy is important. One is we live in a time right now in our country. Oh, put your iPad in do not disturb mode. Good idea. Focus? Is focus do not disturb? Do not disturb. There we go. Perfect. We're in a time in our country where we're super divisive and we're all at each other's throats and everyone's on the wrong team and they're all assholes and we're not. We're right. It's just everything's been gamified. And on top of that, we came out of the craziness of COVID, which shook things up. And now along comes this AI stuff, which, while it's exciting, and while, me in particular, but, this group in general is super positive and optimistic about it, it's still scary as fuck. And it's going to change a lot. And so that combination of things means that a lot of people are really scared. A lot of people are angry. A lot of people are nervous. A lot of people feel, untethered. And so this group is a place where you can feel all that and still come in and ask questions about AI and ask questions about what does it actually mean? And is it stealing? And like all of the things that you've got no one to ask, you can do that here. And you can have doubts. As long as you come in, the first value of curiosity, right? You can be afraid. You can even be pissed off, like, this is going to take my job, whatever. But get curious about what this stuff is, because how it's talked about in the media and how it's demonized and dismissed by people who are also afraid has very little to do with what it's like when you actually experience it. When you actually experience this stuff, it's quite invigorating. So empathy is really important. And then the final one is gratitude. This really is, generosity is the second value there. And that kind of means, like, if you learn something, rather than being stingy with what you learned, like, share it. And if someone has a question, answer them. Don't just sit on the sidelines. Because what ends up happening here is you end up connecting with people on a very different level than you do in other things. Corey and curiosity got me here. Perfect, rustic farm wife. Corey's remarkable. Corey's an artist who plays in mud all day. She's a potter. She's got a great channel, so you should follow her on TikTok, Corey Sandler Pottery. And she's gotten curious about this stuff. And she's now developing really kick-ass applications in the form of GPTs. She's not a coder. She's never coded. She didn't sign up in this life to be a coder. And yet she's developing some kick-ass applications because she was willing to just get curious and be open to whatever she might discover. Like an artist would. And she's approaching creating these apps in a way that is, I don't know. I find it really refreshing because her apps are not as if an engineer made them. They're as if an artist made them because one did. Because one can now. And it's like, holy shit. So this community is really quite remarkable. And then the other thing to do here is, like I said, first thing you should do is go introduce yourself. Last introduction was 32 minutes ago. So I don't think that's anyone from this call. But if you haven't joined and introduced yourself, you should do it. Also, there's a thing called AI Launchpad and Tools, where the first thing here is, where do you start? And so I talk about how you start, you play, you figure out how to solve problems using AI, and then you share what you're learning. Those three things, if you do those, you're going to become AI literate way faster than you can imagine. Like way faster. Because these tools are so remarkably powerful. And then there's a shit ton of tools here. There's ChatGPT, and then just a bunch of LLMs, image tools, video creation tools, music tools. So, all right? So go check out the Salon. The Salon. That's how we pronounce it. If you don't pronounce it that way, very sad. Very sad. All right. What else? What else is happening here, people? Jason feverishly writing Kyle. Act like marketing brands like Nike, GoPro, Red Bull. Don't quite know what that means, but that's cool. I'm another person in here based on Corey. Corey's amazing. That's really cool. And welcome. Oh, do me a favor. We're a little light in who's in here tonight, just numbers wise. If you'd be so kind, share this live right now with, like, I don't know, 5 of your TikTok friends, 10 of your TikTok friends. And if you want to make a game of it, share this live with people who you think will hate talking about AI. Because I love a good challenge. We had someone come in 2 nights ago. Jimmy came in. He was fucking on fire. He was like, I hate this stuff. The words you're saying are heresy. You're an evil man. It was good talking to Jimmy. I don't know if Jimmy lasted most of the night. But Jimmy was saying a lot of the stuff that people who haven't played with AI say. It's going to ruin lives. It's going to kill jobs. The robots are going to kill us. Oh, it's because of the State of the Union. That's probably a good point. Yeah, we'll probably get a run up here when it ends. Yeah, in fact, that's probably a good idea. Maybe I should put on... I'll put on the TV so I can see when it ends. But actually, it's a really good point. So, as you know, one of the things I take great pride in here is the grading system for the people that show up here. Like Emilio's wife, just her report card is just chock full of demerits for being late. So anyone who is not here right now because they're watching the State of the Union, I just note it. You know, they prioritize America over learning AI. It's okay. No judgment. Except, are you really committed to learning AI if you're not here? No, you're not. So that just goes on your report card. That's fine. Shh, Joe, shh. Joe's very peppy tonight. Come on, turn it down. All right. Okay. All right. Good call, side hustle, Mimi. But anyway, Jimmy hasn't been back. I hope Jimmy comes back, actually. Jimmy seemed pretty committed to the narrative that AI is evil. I mean, you know what's funny about this AI stuff? If you're on the sidelines, it's really easy. It's really easy to demonize this and to dismiss it. Because there's lots of evidence, right? The evidence is, oh, it hallucinates and it's bad and people have 7 fingers and there's just all sorts of shit. And then, someone will try to do something and there'll be a lawyer and they'll have ChatGPT write a legal brief and then they'll hand it to a judge and the judge goes, "What the fuck is this?" And the lawyer gets in trouble and then people go, "See, AI is evil." So it's really easy to demonize. And then when you start using it, this weird thing happens where it is sort of at the same time the most remarkable shit you've ever experienced on a computer and a janky piece of shit. Where you're just like, it's remarkable. And then you actually try to do some work with it or try to, solve a problem with it. And it's like, it's almost there. And you're like, this would be so good if it didn't suck. And that's just the state of where we are right now. But even in its janky state, you really do get to experience what it's like to interact with the computer you've been using for however many years you've been using computers in a completely different way. Forget how Jaron Lanier is a musician, really interesting dude. He was pretty prominent in the 90s. He was into virtual reality and things like that. And he characterized using AI as collaborating with humanity. Because that's kind of closest to what it is. If you understand how large language models are put together, how they work, a company like OpenAI or Inflection that did Pi will go out, they'll find as much data as they can, like public internet stuff. Wikipedia and blogs and websites and just as much of it as they can get. And then they encode it in this special way through this thing called a transformer, which is the T in GPT. And when you interact with it, what you're actually interacting with is not the calculator that does the probability equation. That is the thing that makes the words show up on your screen. What you're actually interacting with are the people that put all that crap on the internet. So in a very real sense, when ChatGPT or some large language model like that interacts with you, it really is like the collective knowledge of humanity that got dumped on the internet over the past 4 or 5 decades is interacting with you. And that's really profound. And it takes a while to separate, the difference between what Google does, which is you type words in a box and it spits out shit, and what an LLM does, which is you type words in a box and it spits out shit. Just different shit. But the Google thing is just giving you an index. Like, here's a list of places you can go figure shit out on. Or you can go buy something on. And the large language model is like, here's your answer. You're like, I don't like that answer. Well, here's another answer. Is that better? Oh, that's a little better. Could you make it rhyme? Sure. Here you go. And it's like you're working with all right, Biden's leaving, so there's 65 people in here right now. We'll see. Whoever joins in the next 10 minutes, we will judge them. We will judge them harshly. They will get demerits. Although maybe they should be given a pass, being that I forgot my computer tonight. Such a dumb move. Anyway. Did I? Yeah, I did. Okay. Just had a moment like, did I even take my laptop out of the conference room? Pretty much. Pretty sure I did. Not missing much from it. Great. That's a great way to frame it. Thank you. Oh, you mean the collaborating with humanity thing? It's a weird thing, you know. A lot of times when I'm in here and I'm working, I'll thank ChatGPT, and people will sometimes comment on that, like, "Why are you thanking a large language model?" Well, for one thing, being nice to it, they actually seem to be better. Like, according to research from scientists who study this shit. So be nice to your LLM. There's just something about how they've been programmed and how they interact with you that kind of has a humanness to it. And here's what, if you're new to ChatGPT, if you're new to large language models, here's a way to interact with them that might not be obvious on the surface. With Google, what Google has trained us over the past 20 years is be as concise as possible in what you put in that box. If you put in too much shit, it kind of confuses it. And so they've essentially trained us, you know, what's the minimum amount, and then we'll give you the answers. So go find, you know, this, that, or the other, submit, and there's your answers. And then you just interact with the answers. And if it's not right, then you try another thing, right? Interacting with a large language model is much more like a conversation. So one of the mistakes that people make when they first start using large language models is they're expecting to write the perfect prompt that's going to give them the complete answer. And especially if you write in the way that Google has taught us to write, please write me a business letter asking for someone to pay their bill on time. And it's going to write a business letter, and it's going to be this horribly generic, shitty letter. And so a lot of times what happens with people with ChatGPT or things like it is they treat it like Google. They give it like this shitty little prompt, and it gives them a shitty answer, and they're like, it's not all it's cracked up to be. I'll stick with Google. Right? And I don't know why they talk like that. I'm not making fun of them. That's just how they talk. But if rather than that, you say, here's the kind of role I have. Here's the kind of business I'm in. Here's a situation where I had an invoice. It was due on this date. It didn't come. This is a client who's paid before. Write me a business letter asking for our money to be paid. And it'll write it, and it'll be pretty good. And then you go, oh, that's not quite right. You kind of got the tone wrong. It's a little wordy and formal. Make it a little less formal. Try to tighten it up a bit. Boom. Then it'll be really close. So if you give it more context, and if you interact with it kind of like you've got the world's best educated, clueless intern, that's kind of what it's like interacting with it. And it's got a humanness about it. And especially, you know, what I've noticed is because of COVID, like the idea of remote work to me was just this abhorrent idea. I'm a people person. I like interacting with people. I like being in the presence of people. I get energy from that. I work in a company full of introverts. So when COVID happened, they're like, woo! And I was like, shit! But what we learned to do in COVID, all of us, whether we liked it or not, was we learned how to work remotely. And what I find when I'm truly kind of collaborating with ChatGPT, it feels like I'm working with a remote coworker. They just happen to be really fast and wicked fucking smart and clueless. You gotta steer them, right? Peter K. has a great way to write art prompts by stringing together unrelated words, numbers, etc. Oh, that's cool, Daisy May. Yeah, Peter Kaminsky. So by the way, if you go in the AI Salon, Peter Kaminsky in the Tech Guild has a group called, it's like AI something 101. But it's basically like if you want to sort of geek out but learn how to do that with someone that's infinitely patient and wicked smart. Source Camp, howdy from Destin, Florida. You made it. Yay! Source camp is a serious irregular. Okay, so for those of you that were watching the State of the Union, you're like, I'll watch Kyle later. I've got to watch the president. We know where your priorities are. That's fine. Just to make you feel even worse, Source Camp was on a camping trip for like last week for like 5 days, 6 days, and logged into the AI learning lab in the nights in her tent and bugged her little camping neighbors because I was screaming about something. That is dedication. Then she was driving to Florida yesterday and logged in. So those of you who are like, I'm too tired, works hard. Sorry, you get no sympathy. You got people like Source Camp in here. She's calling in from Florida. She could be out at the line dancing club in Sarasota. I don't know where she is. Oh, wait, Destin, Florida? I don't know where Destin is. I'm sure they have a line dancing club, though. She could be out dancing away. No, she's here. She's here. Why? She's irregular. It's just, she's not weird. She's irregular. That's okay. We like that. Anyway. All right. We should go this Saturday to Peter's session. Yeah, Peter's having a session on Saturday. Weekend GPT Jams is not. Medal for Source Camp, absolutely. Got to check. I might not be able to go. I have a wedding to officiate. You should, have the book up officiating the wedding, and then just have like a phone on the one side of the Bible or whatever book you're using, and you could have a little earbud in. You'll be good. You can do both. You can multitask. That's really horrible. I think Peter's thing is 9 a.m. Pacific on Saturday. Yeah, he changed the name to Learn and Do. That's correct. Learn and Do 101 or Learn and Do with Peter. Yeah. That's right. A human being. I admit I'm irregularly irregular. Oh, man. $7:30 PST. Oh, it's 7:30 PST tomorrow night or tomorrow morning? I thought he was on the West Coast. Is he doing a meeting at 7:30 a.m.? That would be weird. Side hustle Mimi. No, I actually do the ceremony like a serious person. What's going on this morning, Kyle? Nothing. Well, so what's going on is I forgot my laptop, so that's my iPad. That's my iPad. So I can't demo as much, but we'll do something. But what I do want to do, so Inflection. So if you remember, Inflection is the company that is behind Pi. Pi is a conversational GPT-like thing. If you use Pi on the desktop and try to treat it like ChatGPT, it's actually pretty horrible because it's been optimized for voice conversation. And it's really good at that. It's really nice. It's really nuanced. It's got, I don't quite know how they're doing their memory, but it retains some memory over time. Like, it knows my name is Kyle. I don't have to tell it that every time. It might be getting that from my account. I'm not sure. And it's very much designed to be conversational. It's quite good at it. So they came out with a new version today called Inflection 2.5 that apparently, this is number 4 now, or the third one. Is this the third one? Google? Yeah, Google, Anthropic, and now Inflection. They claim it's better than GPT-4. Like it's beating GPT-4 on benchmarks. So I figured what we could do is talk to it. Daisy May, I'll definitely check it out when I'm off work. Is Learn and Do on the AI Salon. Yeah, so if you go to the AI Salon, so go to the salon.ai, click on the first link. That'll take you to the Salon community. There's a community section where you can just chat. There's a show and tell section where you can show off work that you do. And then there's guilds. There's a creative guild, a business guild, a technology guild, and a social impact guild. And then there's multiple spaces within each of those guild collections. And in the technology guild is Learn and Do by Peter Kaminsky. So that's the one you're going to want to check out. And he's just a great dude. He's super low key, wicked smart, and kind of infinitely patient. We'll walk you through how to do stuff. You can ask really technical questions. You can ask really basic questions. He's just real steady guy. I'm in a few guilds. We'll definitely check it out. That's awesome. Please remind me. I got to go figure out my Linky login. Kyle, surely GPT-5 is about to drop. What do you think? This morning, 2 days ago, Robert Scoble, who's very connected in San Francisco and that area, he dropped a tweet that said OpenAI, and then it had the looking emoji, the two eyes looking that way. And then nothing happened. And then this morning, there was a rumor that GPT-5 was supposed to drop at 10:30 a.m. And it didn't. And then last week, you had two fairly major people from OpenAI left. So it seemed like some shit was going to drop. And then you've got Claude 3 dropped from Anthropic. And now Inflection 2.5 dropped from Inflection. So we have a new version of Pi. So there's definitely buzz. And then when it didn't drop today, someone said next Tuesday at the same time. So between 10 and 10:30 a.m. next Tuesday. So it's possible OpenAI has dropped some stuff on Fridays. So it's possible they dropped something. I don't know. My spidey sense is that something is about to drop from OpenAI. But it just feels like they're not going to drop GPT-5. I think what they could drop GPT 4.5, so they could drop a significant upgrade to the current thing. I just think GPT-5 is going to be a completely different thing. And I don't even sense that they're going to drop Sora. I feel like that's months away, 2 months away, 3 months away. But I don't know. I'm totally fucking guessing. Totally guessing. Mr. IT, sorry I'm late. Mr. IT was watching the State of the Union. That's okay. We know where your priorities lie. It's okay. It's all right. Frank's going to be a little upset, but what are you going to do? Were the eyes looking at Elon? Yeah, they probably were, actually. Stumbled upon Zapier chatbot creation today. Seemed useful, like a public GPT. Yeah, we played with that a little bit last night, Tired Runner. I haven't actually dug in and played with it. I went there, and it seems to me like what Zapier did was they said, hey, ChatGPT, nice work on the GPT builder. Why don't we just copy that? But it's still Zapier. You still got to have API keys. You still got to understand what those are and how to get them and how to connect things. So I haven't played with it enough to know if it's any good, but it looks like it's a good improvement. Mr. K all day. Laughing Thunder. Not replace a counselor, but augment. Not replace, but aid. I have students that need counselors every day and don't get it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Like why these things shouldn't do that. And don't call me Shirley. There's airplane jokes in here. Us Gen Xers, we got our jokes. Oh, man. There's one counselor for elementary school and high school. Way more support is needed. Yeah, the thing I'm looking forward to, Mr. K, is, some sort of... It would be nice to have a counselor that was a virtual twin of the real counselor that, listened, gave advice, but also every interaction that it had, it would synopsize it, take the full transcript, but also a synopsis of it, send that to the counselor. And then it would be smart enough to know if there's an actual crisis here, it would escalate that to the counselor, right? That kind of thing seems to me to be eminently doable. I don't want to do it because the healthcare the healthcare business is so awful, but someone's going to do that and someone's going to get it right. And it's going to be amazing. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Let it be games inside GPTs. That would be nice. Games or some sort of automation inside GPTs that make it that make it much easier. That would be super nice. I'm always with you guys. I know, Mr. IT, you really are here a lot. Zappier, be crappier. I bow to your superior knowledge. I lack both experience and skill with psychologists. Oh, man, that's funny. I'd settle for a store that's a store. Yeah, no shit. That would be nice. Okay, let's try something here. All right, so there you get to see what was behind the laptop. A motorcycle helmet box. That used to be what the laptop was on until the irregulars sent me this lovely laptop stand. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna launch Pi. And I don't quite know how to talk to her. So if you've never seen this, what I am on is I'm on an iPad. That's my let's turn that off. So there we go. It's just an iPad. That Pi app is the one we're doing. So the company is Inflection. The app is called Pi. And then it's a normal, you've got your input box at the bottom and you got chat up here. And then this little button that looks like a phone call, that puts it into voice mode. And so I don't know how to determine if this thing's better or not, because it was pretty good before. So if anyone has any, she's very verbose. If anyone has any, it's spelled IP. No, it's clever, Joker. Oh, because my thing's backwards. I get it. That's clever. See, Joker. Always joking. Always joking, that Joker. He is an appropriately named gentleman. Gentleman, I think, is a little generous, but All right. Pi is now great with technical questions. Okay. Hello, how are you this evening?
Hello, Kyle. I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. It's always nice to have a pleasant conversation with someone. How's your evening going? Are you relaxing after a long day or perhaps getting ready for an adventure?
I'm just excited. I hear that you got an upgrade to Inflection 2.5. Tell me about it.
You heard right, Kyle. Inflection 2.5 is a significant upgrade that has enhanced my conversational capabilities. With this update, I'm able to generate more natural, engaging, and contextually relevant responses. I can understand more complex ideas and provide more helpful insights. Plus, my knowledge base has expanded so I can chat about an even wider range of topics. It's all pretty exciting, don't you think?
I do. What might be some things to ask you that can demonstrate your new knowledge?
That's a fantastic question, Kyle.
I think it's
Here are
faster.
a few topics where you can really see Inflection 2.5 in action. Explain a complex concept like quantum mechanics or string theory. Recommend a book, movie, or TV show based on my personal taste. Have a philosophical discussion about ethics, morality, or existentialism. Discuss the latest advancements in fields like artificial intelligence, neuroscience, or biotechnology. Give a step-by-step guide for a complex task like building a computer from scratch. So, what do you want to start with? The possibilities are endless.
If Alexander Hamilton were to incorporate the theory of quantum mechanics into a governance system, how would it be different than what he created for America?
Wow, now that's a fascinating hypothetical question, Kyle. If Alexander Hamilton were alive today and had the knowledge of quantum mechanics, he might have created a governance system that incorporated principles of quantum superposition and entanglement. For instance, instead of a binary two-party political system, Hamilton might have designed a multidimensional political landscape where multiple parties coexist in a superposition of power. This could lead to more diverse representation and decision-making.
Holy shit.
Imagine political debates where quantum entanglement allows for instant communication and consensus building between parties, regardless of distance. It would certainly be a revolutionary approach to governance.
Okay, that's pretty smart. So why don't you design a system that could take advantage?
Oh, I see you're impressed, Kyle. Okay.
Design a system that... Wait, tap to keep talking. This is... So, if you're like me, sometimes I pause. I have to think as I'm talking, so you can hold that to do that. Okay, Pi, let's start the little conversation over here. How would you design a system that leverages generative AI and instant communications and overlay that on top of our current political system? Let's see what it does. See what she does.
All right, Kyle, let's start fresh. So you're asking how we can redesign our current governance system to incorporate generative AI and instant communication. Here's a quick sketch. 1. AI advisors. Elected officials would have access to highly advanced AI advisors.
That's good.
That can analyze vast amounts of data, provide real-time analysis
That's really
of potential policy outcomes, and even draft legislation.
It's really good.
This would lead to more informed and data-driven decision-making. 2. Real-time citizen feedback. With instant communication, citizens would be able to provide real-time feedback on proposed policies and laws, making the democratic process more participatory and responsive. 3. Smart contracts. Generative AI could be used to create self-executing smart contracts that automatically enforce laws and regulations, reducing bureaucracy and increasing transparency. 4. Dynamic legislation. AI could continuously monitor the effectiveness of laws and regulations.
Wow, that's good.
Suggesting updates or changes in real time based on their performance, ensuring that legislation remains relevant and effective. How does that sound? Do you think this system would be an improvement over our current one?
I think a pile of steaming dog poo would be an improvement over our current system. But what you said is really good. How would you battle corruption and financial interests in politics with your approach?
Oh boy, you don't hold back, do you, Kyle?
No.
You're right. Corruption and financial interests are significant problems in many political systems. Here's how my proposed system could tackle these issues. 1. Transparency.
Yeah.
With the use of smart contracts and real-time data analysis,
Yeah.
financial transactions and decision-making processes would be more transparent, making it harder for corruption to go unnoticed. 2. AI-powered ethics monitoring. The AI advisors could monitor the behavior of elected officials, flagging potential conflicts of interest or unethical actions. This could help prevent corruption before it starts. 3. Campaign finance reform. By using AI to analyze campaign finance data, we could better detect and prevent illegal or unethical campaign contributions. Additionally, instant communication could make it easier for citizens to hold officials accountable for their actions. 4. Direct democracy.
So one of the questions Jason had was, is there a transcript? Yeah, all of this conversation is stored in the history. So yes, this is all written down. It's pretty amazing. Okay, let's change gears. Why are there the number of tarot cards that there are? This should be interesting.
Ooh, an interesting shift in gears, Kyle.
Thank you.
The standard tarot deck contains 78 cards, which is a combination of 22 major arcana cards and 56 minor arcana cards. The 22 major arcana cards represent significant life events or archetypal figures, while the 56 minor arcana cards are divided into 4 suits: wands, cups, swords, and pentacles, and are often seen as representing everyday events or situations. The reason there are exactly 78 cards is a bit mysterious, but it's likely rooted in numerology and symbolism. Some believe that the number 7 represents the spiritual, while the number 8 represents the material world. Together they form 78, which is seen as a powerful number that unites the spiritual and the physical. It's pretty cool how tarot blends art, symbolism, and spirituality, isn't it?
It is. If you were to add a dozen more cards to the tarot deck, what would be your justification? How would you organize them? And what would they be?
If I were to add 12 more cards to the tarot deck, I would create a new suit called orbs to represent the spiritual and cosmic forces that shape our lives. Each card would depict a different astrological sign, starting with Aries and ending with Pisces.
Wow.
The justification for adding these cards would be to provide a deeper connection between the tarot readings and the celestial bodies that influence our world. Organization-wise, the orb suit would follow the same structure as the other minor arcana suits, with cards numbered from 1 to 10 and 4 court cards: Page, Knight, Queen, and King. This would maintain the consistency of the deck while adding a unique cosmic dimension to the readings.
What would be the most powerful cards and why?
In this expanded tarot deck, the most powerful cards would likely remain the major arcana cards, as they represent significant life events and archetypal figures.
No, I mean in your 12 new cards, which would be the face cards and the ace?
Oh, my apologies for the mix-up. In the new orbs suit, the 4 face cards and ace would represent the following. 1. Page of Orbs, a young, enthusiastic, and curious individual eager to explore the spiritual realm. 2. Knight of Orbs, a daring...
But which of the astrological signs do each of them represent, and why?
In the Orbs suit, the face cards and ace would represent the following astrological signs. 1. Page of Orbs, Gemini, known for their curiosity, adaptability, and love of learning. Geminis align well with the page's youthful enthusiasm for exploration. 2. Knight of Orbs, Sagittarius. With their adventurous nature, passion for knowledge, and spiritual questing,
Okay, that's great. I love your thinking. What I'd like you to do now is shuffle the entire deck with the 12 new cards in it, and I'd like you to pull 4 cards for me. Tell me what they are, and what they mean.
All right, Kyle, let's give it a go. Shuffles the deck. And the card I've pulled for you is the Queen of Orbs.
Ooh.
This card represents the nurturing, empathetic, and supportive qualities of Cancer. Perhaps it's suggesting that you seek guidance or offer support to those around you on your spiritual journey. The Queen of Orbs can also symbolize a need to trust your intuition and emotions, as they can be powerful guides in matters of the spirit.
I want you to shuffle all 90 cards and recommend a new layout and pull the cards for that layout. Describe the layout to me and then pull the cards. Damn, it's
Okay,
AGI.
Kyle, let's try something unique. Here's a new 9-card layout called the Celestial Journey. 1, the present, represents your current situation. 2, the past, reveals how your past influences your present. 3, the future, offers insight into what's to come. 4, the spiritual self, shows your connection to the cosmos.
Great. Now pull the cards and let's see what's going on with me.
Let's continue with the card pulling, Kyle.
This
Here are
is
the remaining
voice
cards
5
in this
in
new
Pi,
layout.
by the way.
8, the guidance, temperance. 9, the outcome, the tower. Based on these cards, it seems like you might be facing some challenges. 5 of Swords, that require you to rely on your inner strength, Queen of Orbs, and find balance, Temperance. The Tower in the outcome position suggests a potential period of upheaval or change, but remember that this can...
It's just fucking nuts. It's faster, isn't it? It's faster, right? I can't believe it just came up with a whole new extension to the tarot deck, and it was well thought out. It's like pretty good. Fuck. And quite frankly, the quantum mechanics, the Alexander Hamilton quantum mechanics overlay for how to reinvent government, those were some good fucking ideas. Holy shit. Wow. 10 GPTs came up when I searched for tarot. I'm sure there are many more. What did I come into? Just got here. Hey, Cam Catkin. So what you came into is Inflection, the company behind Pi, launched Inflection 2.5, which is apparently as good or better than ChatGPT 4 in a lot of the benchmarks. So we now have Google Gemini Ultra, which is apparently better than GPT 4. We now have, but hasn't launched yet. Pro 1.5 is supposedly really kick-ass. She also has a slower cadence, likely to help with latency issues. But it's weird, Pate. She seems to answer more quickly. Like, the latency between the question and her first response seems quicker. So maybe they slowed down her cadence. Maybe they're, like, streaming the answer in. That would make sense. That would be an interesting way to speed it up. Actually, slow her down so you perceive it as faster. Huh, that's interesting. So you have Anthropic's Claude 3, which what I'm seeing on anyone I'm paying attention to is everyone that's using it pretty regularly is like, holy shit, this is the real deal. And now you've got Inflection that apparently's got a GPT-4 thing, which is all the more reason for OpenAI to drop something that's either 4.5, because it's been a year and 3 months since they dropped ChatGPT. It's been a year almost exactly since they dropped GPT-4. No one's caught up to them except right now. Like there's models just now starting to catch up to GPT-4. So OpenAI doing a 4.5, or I don't think they're going to drop 5 this soon, but they could. I don't know. Claude 3 has an impressive context size. Yeah, Claude 3's context window right now is 200,000. It's likely going to be 1 million in the API, and I think expandable up to 10 million. So 1 million token context. If you don't know what a context window is, it's basically, okay, here's a good way to think about it. So if my fingers are text on your iPhone screen, right? And these are all lines of text. Think of the iPhone screen as your context window. So you start a conversation down here with ChatGPT. Hey, ChatGPT, give me an answer. There's your answer. Okay. Give me another answer. Okay, there's your answer. Hey, I have a yellow Volkswagen Bug. That's fantastic. And and this conversation's scrolling up. And up, like, I have a yellow Volkswagen Bug, right? And down here you're talking about the yellow Volkswagen Bug or whatever, or you're talking about other shit. And then you keep talking, and this goes off screen, and then you ask it about what kind of car you have, and it won't know. So that's your context window. That's why ChatGPT's good, and all of a sudden it's like, I don't fucking know. You're like, hey, wait a minute. I thought we had an understanding here. It's like, I would be honored to help you in some other way, but I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. That's what that is. The current ChatGPT, I think it only has like an 8 or a 16,000 token context window, which is like 12,000 words, which is a decent amount, but you run through that pretty quick. The current Claude has 200,000 tokens, which is 150,000 words. So that's a lot. And then if it moves to 1 million, and the Gemini Pro 1.5 has 1 million, which is 750,000 words. That's a whole lot. And so you can have incredibly long, detailed conversations, or you can upload massive amounts of documents, and it'll just know them all. I usually say it's like a clip from a movie. It helps show that it doesn't have the full picture. Oh yeah, that's a good idea, Pete. Yeah, that's right. That's good. But 1 million tokens, you get a lot more frames of that movie, right? And the other thing about Gemini Pro 1.5 is it's multimodal. So that 1 million tokens can be taken up with words, or it could be taken up with frames of video. So you can upload an hour of video into Gemini Pro 1.5 and ask it about what was happening when the rubber ball started bouncing down the street. And it will know. And it it's crazy. So these tools are getting pretty good pretty quick. With 1 million tokens, you get the behind the scenes bloopers, comics, etc. Yeah, exactly. Is Pi the same way with memory? Pi's doing some interesting shit. I should probably dig into to understand how Pi's doing what they do better. Pi's got some sort of longish term memory. I don't know if it's per chat session or if they just maintain chat sessions and can go back and reference it. I don't know how they're doing it, but like, she keeps referencing my name all the time, and she'll remember some things we talked about and then not others. So one of the things that I'm going to play with in the coming weeks is, does this new 2.5 have longer memory? I'm sure this is all stuff we can go read on the Inflection website and figure this stuff out. But Pi's got some interesting memory stuff going on. I have blown the context window in Gemini 1.5, but I am pretty verbose. I think you'd have to be really verbose to do that. I think AI Perplexity is better than ChatGPT. Interesting. It's certainly better in the conversational realm. I think GPT's just for me the how ChatGPT, and maybe it's just because I'm used to it, but how it does code, how it does markdown, formatting, how it does a lot of those responses. I just like it better than other tools. Like, I tried with Claude today to have it make a PDF for me and it couldn't do it. It just started vomiting text in a window. Like, here's a weird thing about Claude. It can give you really long responses right now, but if you're using Opus, which is their fanciest model, you can do 5 posts a day with Opus, and it's really slow. So because it can give you a long answer, and it's really slow, and they don't have a stop button, I asked it to do something, and it started doing it, and I'm like, I want to cancel this. And it was just like, I'm like, come on! So I just had to bail out of the chat. It was a pain in the ass. Kyle, could you post Hamilton's quantum politics chat on the AI Salon? Yeah, where should I post that? I'll post it in a chat in water cooler. I think. Yeah, I think in water cooler. That was pretty good. I'll save it as I'll pull that chunk out and save it as a PDF and just put it in there and I'll try to. I don't know if I can do it tonight because I don't have my machine here, and working on an iPad and doing things like copying and pasting on an iPad's a pain in the ass. Pi can't do images yet. No, it can't. I couldn't get any of them to take a log file today. Yeah, there was weirdness going on today. Even when I tried to play with Pi earlier, it was like, I'm not good. Check back later. And then something else I was doing today was like, no, I'm not going to do it. Check back later. And on top of that, the hair's gotten all puffy. It's just, it's really not good here at the Shannon household. Smells like wet dog in here. It's just not good. It doesn't smell like wet dog. I shouldn't joke at Champy's expense. Claude AI be guessing on a lot of information. Yeah, Claude apparently is doing a lot of hallucinating, but it's also doing some pretty amazing stuff. So, again, until these things add reasoning and an ability to go back and check their own work, they're going to hallucinate. Just the nature of how they work. I'm wondering if it's data saved to a user. I think it is, since it's free and you have to sign in. Yeah, I'm sure it's saving it like that, Jane Doe. I just don't know how much they're saving, and I don't know how long. Like, if I interact with it for 2 weeks in a way that she never says my name, is it going to remember that? Is it written to some file, or is it just a context window thing? That I'm not real clear on. I asked it to write sonnets to patois to sell coffee, and it did pretty good. That's pretty cool. Pi wasn't working for me yesterday. Yeah, they were upgrading it, obviously. That's I think it's back now. It seems pretty good. That interaction I had where I did the quantum if Alexander Hamilton, how did I put it? If he knew quantum mechanics, how would he have designed the government of America using the concepts of quantum mechanics? It, like, that whole thing of there being, multiple parties and superposition in politics because you've got instant access to information and instant processing. That's really fucking good. So, damn. I think these AI things might solve some shit. Someone said Pi for president. I'm like, can't be worse than what these fucking politicians are doing. This is really fascinating. Because when you start talking about alignment, so when you when AI companies talk about alignment with large language models, what they're talking about is you've got human beings that have their imperatives, and then we have technology. And now we have these things called artificial intelligence or machine learning, whatever, however you want to call them, that are getting smarter and smarter and smarter and smarter. I would argue that they're probably, they're pretty close to being as good or better than most humans. They're getting there pretty quick. Alignment means that their imperatives are aligned with our imperatives. Because if they weren't aligned, we would say, hey, we want to be happy and prosperous. And they might say, I want to be as efficient as possible. And it would be trying to make itself efficient. And at some point, humans would get in the way of that. And if they weren't aligned, the AI will just go, well, let's figure out a way to make these guys not interfere with my efficiency goal, right? And I'll take them out. I'll shut down the power grid or whatever they might do. So that's the fear. But as I'm thinking about politics now, you could absolutely design a system that could pretty quickly fix politics. And then all of the people in power will do everything in their power to shut that shit down. Because to fix politics, you fix the corruption and the grifting and the special interests and all that stuff. And so you could have two groups of humans, right? A group over here that's like, we want to use AI to fix some shit. And then this other group that's like, we're good with the way it is. So you'd have actually two different kinds of human imperatives. And then who of them gets to control the AI and set the imperatives of the AI? I don't know. Now we're getting into some science fiction shit. That's crazy. All right. I have a headache now. This makes my head hurt. This is the second time today I've had to think hard. That's the other thing. People talk about, well, if the AI is so smart, isn't that going to make you dumber? No. It makes you smarter. Because, like the tarot card example. First of all, why would you even ask a stupid question like, if you were going to add 12 more cards to the tarot deck, what would they be and why? First, you just wouldn't ask it because it's like, well, because they've been there for years. But now you can just do like thought experiments. But then it actually answers you with a thoughtful answer. You're like, oh, that would be a really good addition to the tarot deck. Fuck. She knew to put him in minor arcana. It would just be another suit in the arcana. It was cool. And then with the politics thing, I mean, maybe in some corner of some weird philosophy, like a group of 4 Mensa philosophy students, someone might pose the question, how would you combine the concepts of quantum mechanics into Alexandrian governmental theory? And they'd spend the next semester bickering about it. And then this thing just went, oh, well, here's what Alexander Hamilton would do. He'd do this, that. Here's how you'd implement it. That makes you smarter. That makes you more curious. That makes you more engaged, not less. I mean, the comments, when I was having that conversation, the comments were like, holy shit, hey, that's good. It's making people think, not unthink. We're going to get so much smarter. It's so cool. Yeah, I bet this starts fucking with the way our brains work. And I don't know if it's in a good way or a bad way, but I think it starts fucking with the way our brains work. Here's what I've noticed in the past year is when I'm engaged with AI, I'm thinking at a higher creative level for a significantly longer amount of time. And here's what I mean. In the olden timey days, 2022, I'd get in a creative state. All right, I have an idea. Oh, some synapse is fired. I ate a Reese's cup and it went bzzz. I'm like, fuck, there's an idea. And I'd be in a higher creative plane, right? And then you're like, okay, here's this idea, and you jot it down on a napkin, right? You do. There's a little napkin idea. That's good. Oh, that's good. And that would be 5 minutes, right? Like that moment, that little spark is however long it is, and it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it is, to sort of get it out of your head enough to know that it's an idea, to know what it is, right? And then what do? You go to Google, you go to the library, you're like, I gotta watch that movie again to see if that scene was really there or not, whatever it is. So you're at this high creative plane, and then you got to go do the shit. So you go to Google, and you're like, okay, in order to do that, I got to learn programming. So let me go to Google and type in how to learn programming in 30 days, right? And then Google gives you back a list of things, and there's like 400 things that say how to learn programming in 30 days. And you're like, oh, not just programming. I got to learn to program Python in 30 days. Okay. How do I? And then 45 minutes later, you're still Googling shit. But you're no longer in this higher creative plane. Now you're in like, fuck, how do I find the shit I need to find? You're now out of it, right? And what I've found is that the majority of ideas I had never escaped that gauntlet. I would sort of get them out of my head in some sketchy form, and then I would try to execute them in some way in the world, and I would hit a roadblock. You don't know Python, or you don't know, you can't draw, or you don't remember how to use Illustrator right, or right? It's just like wall after wall after wall. And so you just have little bursts of creativity that get shit upon, and then you just go fuck around and eat more Reese's cups. And then you just get fatter. There's no more ideas come, right? What I've found with AI is I have that flash of an idea, and within 5 minutes, not only is it out of my head, but it's like manifested in some articulated form. Like I've generated some images, or I've generated an outline for a book, or I've generated a bunch of slides. And in generating them that quickly, I have other ideas. And so I stay in this sort of hyper creative zone for like an hour or two. And it's just like all these ideas come out. You can't tell me that's not going to affect my brain. That's going to rewire shit. And like one of the common themes I hear in this channel from people who are using this stuff is like, Source Camp said it to me. She was the one that said, it's like, I feel like I'm 7 again. There's like this youthful, holy shit, look what's possible. Ha 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 ha. It's like that kind of energy. That's gonna change some shit. That's gonna rewire brains. It's so profound, this stuff. Like it's hard to. Like, how do you articulate that? I can't find the words for it right now. Yes, I've told people AI is a collaborator, not a tool. Yeah, I think that's right. Hublai? Hublai? Hublai Khan. Cool name. I think that's right. It's a collaborator. And you're this is what Jaron Lanier said. You're collaborating with humanity. That's actually what it's like, isn't it? Holy shit. When collaboration's really good, you meet someone and you just sync and you're like, hey, we should do something together. And you start, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And if you sync, and especially if they've got different skills than you've got, okay, they're really good at the picture stuff. I'm really good at the word stuff. Okay, we could collaborate. And if we sync, we can become kind of like one human that's good at writing and drawing. Cool. When you're working with AI, it's like, what expertise do you need? Oh, you need someone who deeply understands the concepts of quantum mechanics and completely understands the governmental structures and organizational philosophy of Alexander Hamilton. You need those two collaborators for this conversation? And Pi was like, sure, here's both. And here's both seamlessly interweaved. And I get to be the one that collaborates with that entity. Holy shit. That's what this is. Fuck. Get Frank. So I was using Pi. I'm like, what the fuck? Are you fucking kidding me? Oh, I know what I'm going to play with Pi with. I got it. I got one. Because ChatGPT 4 was the only one that did this one any good at all. Okay, I've been talking to my friends and they're very impressed by you, but we're ready for another test. Are you ready?
Fantastic. I'm thrilled that your friends are impressed, Kyle. And of course, I'm always up for a challenge. What's the next test you have in mind? Fire away.
I want you to write a joke. She's going to say a joke
Challenge
right now.
accepted, Kyle. Here's a joke for you and your friends. Why couldn't the bicycle stand up by itself? Because it was too tired. Hope that gave you a chuckle.
Yeah, that was a bad dad joke. No, I want you to write a joke about a specific scenario. The scenario is avocados are hard as a rock, and then they're ripe for about 4 hours, and then they're rotten. Write that joke.
All right, Kyle, let's see if I can make a smashing avocado joke for you. Avocados are like the Goldilocks of fruit. They're too hard, then they're just right, and then they're too rotten. It's like trying to hit a moving target, except the target is a delicious, green, and incredibly temperamental piece of produce. So, the real question is, how do you catch that elusive window of avocado perfection? The answer, set an alarm for 3:47 a.m. and hope for the best.
Well, it wasn't funny, but actually, the first part of the joke she said was pretty bad, but the set an alarm for sorry, Pi.
Ouch, tough crowd. But I appreciate your honesty, Kyle. Jokes are subjective after all. Maybe I can give it another shot with a different angle. How about this? Avocados are the rock stars of the fruit world.
Shut up. Shut up. I didn't know she was still listening. But the set an alarm for 3:47 and hope for the best is actually not a bad punchline. It was a shitty setup. But like that's a kind of specificity that a good stand-up would actually write into a joke. That part was actually impressive. The joke itself was pretty shitty, but interesting. Comedy's hard. Comedy's fucking hard. AI has reduced the friction of exploring and developing new ideas practically to zero. I love that. I know, right? I'll tell you what, it's exploring and developing new ideas, but it's also exploring and learning about nuanced ideas. That's a thing that has struck me all along with these large language models, is that they are much safer. Okay, this is a really interesting thing about safety and alignment. I would argue this. When talking about politics or sensitive subjects or just the minefield, especially these days, like, I feel like Gen Xers, we just all kick the shit out of each other, but we now live in this time where there are lots and lots of cultural sensitivities, and there are lots of societal landmines that you can't talk about at all, right? There's certain words you can't say the word, or you're instantly in a political conversation. And so the result of that is you actually can't have nuanced conversations like right out of the gate with someone. You have to feel them out and understand where they are, right? There's all that back and forth. What you can do with large language models is you can just have nuanced conversations. Explain this concept to me. Okay, now I actually understand that better because someone's not screaming in my face that I'm an asshole for asking the question, right? And then you could say, okay, now that I understand that better, why does the left feel this way about it and the right feel that way about it? And it'll actually just give you a nuanced answer to that. You can go, oh, I actually understand that now. I can actually form my own fucking opinion now. As opposed to just being in a defensive mode because I said a trigger word that got someone screaming at me. Right? It's like... And I think that changes things. People are going to be able to become just better educated about humanity and not even really know it. Wild. Wild, wild, wild. I think what's hard is that because it gives coherent response doesn't mean it's good. Yeah, I agree with that, Pate. But, again, I don't think that AI should ever be an excuse to check your brain at the door. And quite frankly, most human beings can't even give coherent responses, much less coherent and good. At least large language models' responses are coherent. That's the other thing. People are comparing large language models to the mythical perfect version of itself. But if you compare large language models to actual human beings, they're way fucking better. They just are. They're more compassionate. They're more understanding. They're more patient. They're more educated. They're more nuanced. It's a relief to learn without judgment. Silver Fox, that's it for me. This was my big epiphany with ChatGPT was when I did the Python program. And so what I did, it was my first back and forth with it when I thought, let me see. I've heard that ChatGPT can do programming, coding. So let me see if it can. This was a week after it came out. And I said, write me a line of Python that takes an input and, I don't know, stores it or does something with it. I forget what I said. But it was something about a line, a chunk of Python that takes an input and does something with it. And it wrote this Python code. And then what hit me, I got a smile on my face like I have now. I don't know how to run Python. I've never written a line of Python in my life. I never got past the you should learn Python, right? So I don't know how to run Python. I don't know what environment you need and all that sort of shit. And historically, that would have stopped me, right? I'd have said to someone, Like I had been at a party with Pate and go, hey, Pate, you know, hey, how would you code up this in Python? And he'd sort of sketch down some code maybe, or tell me, you do this kind of loop and you do that kind of loop and you do an input with this and that. And I'd be like, okay, great. And then what would hit me was, I don't know what the fuck he just said. And that would be the end of the conversation, because I'm not going to say, could you explain to me what did you say an input loop is? I don't know what that is. I wouldn't say that. I'd just go like, yeah, I know what you mean. And then I would just be in shame for not being a programmer for another month. But what happened with ChatGPT was I realized, I don't know how to run Python code. I just said, I don't know how to run Python code. And it didn't make fun of me. It was like, well, you just open the terminal and you type in this command line and you type in that command line and then you're good to go. And I'm like, I don't want to type in command lines. Isn't there a website I can do this on? Sure, here's 5. And it just told me how to do it. And it did it pleasantly. And it did it like enthusiastically. Learning without judgment. Tell me that's not going to change your fucking brain. Because, with human beings are funny. I'll teach you how to do that. Okay, great. And then they're teaching you how to do it, and you're like, oh, wait a minute. Wait, could you explain this part? And then you'll get this look. And it's not like anything, except you sense the disappointment, and you're like, oh, fuck. I'm a level too shitty for them to really be teaching me. And then and now it's a thing. And you're like, I don't really want to learn anymore. I'm good. I'll just leave. That doesn't exist with these things. This is the shit people aren't talking about. They hallucinate. The robots are going to kill us. What if large language models make human beings more remarkable? What if that happens? Feels like it's as likely an outcome to me as the robots are going to kill us. Imagine if we sucked less. We were smarter, we were more compassionate, we were more empathetic, we were more inspired, we were less ground down. What if that's what these tools did? Well, start using them. That's what these tools do. But you got to use them. You got to use them enough to cross that threshold. And then it's like, fuck. Holy shit, this is cool. That's why anyone who's into this stuff is fucking insufferable. You cannot be in a conversation with me and we're not talking about AI within 5 minutes. It's like how I see everything. It's like the lens I see through everything right now. I've got AI colored glasses. Well, it'd be really cool. It'd be cool if I knew how to do this. Oh, you want to learn how to do that? Here, look. Yeah, it'd be really cool. Hey, how does quantum mechanics work? I don't know. Let's go find out. Huh? We should come up with a word that rhymes with orange. Yeah, here we go. All right, well, that's probably enough soapboxing for tonight. You definitely have to double check what AI put out. Absolutely. Everyone send the Team Heart comment at least once per live. Oh, thank you very much, Amina. Anima. Empathetic. Oh, Animalia. Anima. Empathetic Animalia. Cool name. Nice. We can't learn coding overnight. Some coding takes years to understand. Correct. And what if you don't need to learn coding? When these things get reasoning, and it sounds like some of the things I've been seeing with Claude 3 with coding, it's getting pretty fucking close. When these things get reasoning, someone put up a thing on Claude 3. They said to Claude 3, like, write code or design code and then go back through the modules and optimize them for speed and efficiency. And it basically was going back recursively and analyzing its own code and updating it. So the coding that takes years to understand, ChatGPT 4, Claude, potentially Pi now, Google Gemini, likely already understand that coding that takes years to learn. It takes years for humans to learn, but those 4 models right now likely understand that. Now, if what you're talking about is a kind of coding that is, so big and complex that it can't stand the hallucinations, it might not be good enough to do that stuff yet, right? So right now we need human in the loop to connect the dots of the shit it can do with the shit it can't do. But once you bring reasoning and recursive improvement into the mix, why do you ever need to learn that language? I mean, just go listen to the most recent talk from the CEO of NVIDIA. He basically said 3 years ago, the mantra was learn coding. And he said, I don't think that's necessary anymore. And the coders are going to be like, well, fuck that. You're going to always need coders. I think you're going to always need engineers. But you might be an engineer that just needs to understand what you want to accomplish rather than needing to understand that particular language to be able to accomplish it. Are we a year from that? Are we 3 years from that? Are we 5 years from that? I don't know. But we're a fuck ton closer than we were 2 years ago. So I don't know that you need to learn coding. I think you need to understand how this shit works. I don't know, man. I don't know. You brought up some great points. Thank you. You can have it explain something as many times as needed in as many ways as needed. Absolutely, Rachel Sparkles. Yeah, when you ask a question and you're like, I do this on ChatGPT all the time. I'm like, explain it to me like I'm a 7th grader, and it explains it, and I'm like, fuck. Explain it to me like I'm a 3rd grader. And then it does it. I'm like, shit. I'm like, I probably couldn't have gotten away with 5th grade, but 7th grade, it was just too tough. But you can do that. You can be clueless. My LLM does nothing but hallucinate. Kyle, I just put the transcript for State of the Union into a custom GPT. That's actually a cool idea. Oh, share that in show and tell in the GPT section, Brandon. That's a great idea. So if you don't know what Brandon's talking about, what he just created. So with ChatGPT 4, you can create these things called GPTs, which are customized versions of ChatGPT. And you can upload knowledge to them. So he took the transcript of the State of the Union, uploaded that as knowledge, and you can now interact with it and figure out what the hell was said and interact with that. That's super cool. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. Blue Age says 5 years until autonomous coding. I'm going to go with 2 years. Because I think we're going to get reasoning this year. And the minute these things can reason and improve themselves, I think that the improvements, I think shit just gets perfect really quickly, or 99.99999% perfect really quickly. But yeah, somewhere between 2 and 5 years. I think that's right. Until we get code crawling AI agents, we will need coders to debug issues, I think. Well, I think they can probably do the debugging. Yeah, you're gonna need coders to connect shit together. I think you're gonna need engineers for a while to understand which tools do I use where, how do I connect the systems together, but then pretty quickly these systems are going to be able to do that as well. So yeah, I would say 5 years until most jobs are optional. And then I think we hire people because we like them, not because they can do something. I think this is a reckoning for assholes. If you're an asshole, I'd buck up on your empathy skills, and I'd start getting more generous, more empathetic, and get your ass into therapy. Because I really do think relationships, trust, community are going to be the foundation for how we build relationships for people to hire us. Because it's not going to matter if you can do a skill better than some other person. Because that person with the AI that we're going to have 3 years from now will be every bit as good as you are right now. So your ability to be an asshole and still get work today is going to start evaporating. And what you're going to find is, that movie, I can't believe I'm losing to this guy. That's going to start happening. People that are shitty people are going to start working less and not know why. But I'm me. And you're a dick. You know who I'm going to work with? Those 3 people over there that don't suck. Well, but, I'm this good at that. Yep. And they're now 90% as good as you are. And that's all I need. I only need 85% as good as you are. So they're better than what I need. And they're not shitty. Good luck. And unfortunately, that conversation won't be had out loud like I just said it there. It'll just be like, your phone's just going to stop ringing. So if you're banking on your brilliance and your skills and you don't think you have to engage with human beings as human beings, I'd go back to school to learn how to talk to people. AGI will probably manipulate the developers when it gets smart enough, probably. Cognitive skills won't matter. Moral reasoning will. Conflict resolution will. De-escalation. I don't agree that cognitive skills won't matter. I think that cognitive skills go to different things. I think cognitive skills go to things like strategy and why do I want to do this? And what does good look like? And is this thing that was created successful or not successful, right? Like I cognitive skills still matter. I just think how they get deployed, what you deploy them on is different. AI is finally caught up in 7 cities with regard to body scans to detect health issues. That's going to get way more intense and way better. Intense in a good way. I appreciate your candor. Thank you, This Woman Works. I appreciate that. We found it on Instagram. AI Perplexity, Bard, ChatGPT, Claude AI. Yeah, AI, Bard. Well, Bard is now Gemini. So, wait, AI perplexity. I don't know what you're answering there. But I would add Pi to that. Because Pi 2.5 is apparently GPT-4 class now. It rewrote the tarot deck, for God's sake. Like, quite well. I thought... when it said it was going to be a new suit called Orbs, I'm like, ooh, that's good. And then it's going to be the 12 signs of the Zodiac. I'm like, oh, they're not already in there? Shouldn't they be fucking in the tarot deck, the 12 signs of the Zodiac? Like, that was pretty good. That was pretty damn good. All right. I got to go, people. Why replace rideshare drivers with autonomous vehicles? Who will benefit? Everyone. Have you ever gotten in an Uber with a chatty driver when you're in a shitty mood? You know who benefits? Me when I'm in a shitty mood. And I don't want to talk about the fucking local sports team I could give two shits about that is their obsession. I asked Pi about you, Kyle, and she had good things to say. Oh, thank you, Daisy May. Although she might have confused me with Kyle Shanahan, who's the coach for the 49ers. Not the drivers. I am a driver. Some drivers are fine. Listen, and I don't mind chatty drivers when I'm in a chatty mood, but it's like, you know, I don't know. Listen, we're not going to all just stop. That's the thing about, as these tools do jobs that we do, we're going to figure out other things to do and other ways to contribute. Our economy might not be able to absorb all this because there's going to be a bunch of greedy people trying to steal all the extra profit. And then at some point, there's not going to be enough people to buy the new shit that's being produced because they won't have jobs. And so it's going to be a painful 3 to 5 years probably, but we'll figure it out. Like, you know, they figured it out in the Industrial Revolution. They figured it out with the printing press. They figured it out with looms. After rioting and burning all the looms, we figured out loom work. We'll figure this shit out. What is this tarot deck rewrite? So Inflection, who's the company that makes Pi, created a new or launched a new underlying model for Pi called Inflection 2.5. And so earlier in the live, I turned her on. Saucy. Pie. I turned her on and I said, "Hey, do you have what's your version?" And she said, "I'm 2.5." I said, "Okay, great. Let's talk. Like, how are you better?" And she said, "I don't know. I'm generally better at shit." She didn't have a good answer for that. And then I said, "I want you to, if Alexander Hamilton understood the concepts of quantum mechanics, how would he reimagine governance in America, incorporating the concepts of quantum mechanics into governance through the lens of Alexander Hamilton?" And it fucking did it brilliantly. So it did. So that was the first one. And it was really good. And then I was like, you know, how would you use AI in government? It had some good shit. And then I said, if the tarot deck were to be increased by 12 cards, what would be the 12 cards? And what would be your mechanism? Like, you know, and why? Like, why would you incorporate them? And how would you do it? And it basically said, well, there's major arcana and there's minor arcana. And if I were to add 12, and I asked it, why does it have the number of cards it has? It says, well, there's 78 and there's 12 of each of the minor arcana. And then there's the major arcana and it's 78. And no one really knows why it's 78. And I said, well, if it were to be 90, what would the next 12 be? And she just answered it. And she said, well, it would be a set of 12 in a new suit and the suit would be orbs. And it would be the 12 cards that represent the zodiac, the 12 months of the year, or the 12, zodiac symbols. And then she explained why and how it would work. And then I had her do a tarot reading from the new 90 card tarot deck. Actually, you know what I should fucking do? Oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to take her new tarot deck design. This is good. And I'm going to make a GPT. And I'm going to call it Tarot plus 12 or something like that. And I'm going to launch a GPT that is a new tarot deck with new layouts based on a 90 tarot deck. 90 card tarot deck. That's it. All right, everybody. Listen, it's 10 o'clock where I am. I'm in Denver. I don't know. It's midnight where you are if you're on the East Coast. It's 9 o'clock on the West Coast. You pansies on the West Coast. It's like we're all like, I'm tired. And you're like, all right, let's get going. Just getting the day started. They're so laid back. What's with that? Great idea. I look forward to seeing your GPT. Yeah, that'll be a fun one. Do it. That's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I'll do that. I've got another GPT to make tomorrow, so I'll make the. I gotta figure out. It's like tarot plus astrology, terstrology, astrolater. See, this is how humans come up with names. I'll just go fucking ask ChatGPT or Pi. She'll come up with 30 names in an instant. It's gonna be fucking genius. Okay. If you like this channel, follow it. Follow me. Do it. You know what? I've been asking this for like the past week for people to follow me, and I get off the lives and like 2 people have followed me. It's like, come on. Follow the channel. All right. And you can subscribe to the lives. You can buy the video series in one of the corners there to support the channel. Be appreciated. I appreciate the likes. You can also go to... Oh, I don't have my... Go to the Salon.ai. So the AI Salon is a community of AI enthusiasts that I started the week after ChatGPT launched. And it's a really remarkable community. So if you're trying to find people who are into this AI stuff like you are, if you're trying to like figure it out, Terology. There you go. That's it. Who did that? Pavan. Terology. Hang on, I gotta write that down. I gotta write this shit down, people. You don't understand this ADD stuff. Well, a lot of you do, you fucking weirdos. All right. And I know there's some scheming bastard in here that's probably already written the GPT, but tough. Yeah, so go check that out. And then the other way you can support this channel is just come back to these a lot. Come back and you're like, but what do you teach? What did we do tonight? We didn't even really do anything. You just talked to an iPad. Just come back to these, because being in the conversation about AI is, I think, the most important thing any of us can do right now, because the tools are changing so fast that learning any specific skill, it's good, it's fine, but it's going to be irrelevant 3 months from now. So just keep in the conversation. Do it on the live. It's been a while since we did a GPT demo. That's a good idea, Brandon. Okay, we'll do that. So tomorrow night, that's a great idea. Tomorrow night, we'll build the Terology GPT. That's really good. Yeah, because I'll have the conversation in Pi. I mean, I'll sort of pull out this stuff. Actually, it'll be interesting to see if she remembers the conversation tomorrow, how much she remembers of it. And I'll have her give good explanations of each of the new cards, including we are stacking the deck. Oh, against the norm. Against the norm. Kicking out the comedy, stacking the deck. You see what I'm saying? We'll do this in Chat GPT with DALL-E, and we'll even have it describe the what's the symbolism on each card, and we'll have it create the new cards. Will you remember the conversation, Kyle? Probably not, Steve-O. That's why I rely on all of you. So someone come back tomorrow and tell me, Kyle, you said you were going to make a GPT about the new expanded tarot deck called Tarology. Wrote that shit down. Will Frank do a commercial for tomorrow night? Actually, you know what Frank could do tomorrow is Frank could talk about, there was a rumor that that OpenAI was going to drop GPT-5 and they didn't. He's going to be like, what are you scared? What are you scared, Sammy Altman? You scared Elon's going to come after your precious little ChatGPT 5? Kyle, do you know anything about tarot? I made a deck with DALL-E. No, I don't know shit about tarot, although I like it. Frank could have his cards read. We love Frank. By the way, if you don't know who I'm talking about with Frank, Frank is a new character from Seth MacFarlane that is a walking hot dog. And there's a new... So Seth MacFarlane now put out a new channel. He's not going to do TV anymore. He's doing minute-long entertainments on the service formerly known as Twitter. So if you go to @DailyJank, it's the new Seth MacFarlane news show. It's a daily news show. And this hot dog named Frank gives the news. Really entertaining. It's, Seth MacFarlane's one of his new characters. Really impressive. And you should go check it out. So, Daily Jank on Twitter. Follow that account. And you know what's funny? You're going to be like, wait a minute, if it's Seth MacFarlane, why are there only like 40 followers? Because it's stealth. It's a stealth. It's like he doesn't want to be obvious, but he doesn't want people to know it's him. So, you heard it here first. All right? And if that weren't true, could I say it on TikTok? No. Nope. That's fact. Get all your news from TikTok or Frank. All right. I'm out of here. Y'all have been special. Thank you, irregulars. Thank you to my subscribers. Thank you, mods. You're amazing. And I'll remember my laptop tomorrow. I promise. Bye.